In Oedipus Rex, the most important characters are Jocasta and Oedipus. Throughout the play, we can see a roller coaster of emotions and events. However, these two characters are very different from one another. Oedipus is adventurous, bold, compassionate, a devoted leader, and persistent, while Jocasta is selfless, distrusting, and clever but blind. At the beginning of the play, Oedipus is confident, intelligent, and altruistic. This is shown by the way he speaks to people. What act or pledge of mine may save the city? I have counted the days, and now this very day I am troubled, for he has overstayed his time. What is he doing? He has been gone too long, yet when he comes back I should do ill to scant whatever duty God reveals. This shows how he is willing to do anything for the people, regardless of the cost or consequences. You can also see how he is confident because he tells them that he will find out why the plague is hitting them. Most people wouldn't assure their people because they fear that they can't keep that promise. That is one of the ways that Oedipus differs from other rulers or kings. As we get a little bit further into the book, we meet Oedipus's wife Jocasta. When we first meet her, one of the first things she says is not to trust the prophets. If it is a question of soothsayers, I tell you that you will find no man whose craft gives knowledge of the unknowable. This shows her distrust in all prophets, as she believes she has been lied to by one before. An oracle was reported to Laios once, that his doom would be death at the hands of his own son, his son, born of his flesh and of mine. After reminding him of how he died, he was murdered at the meeting of 3 highways by a group of strangers, she continues to say that their child didn't live longer than 3 days because they killed him to ensure this would never happen. So there was no way the prophet's prophecy came true. This distrust was transferred over to Oedipus because Jocasta not trusting the prophets meant he didn't either. This sent him further down his spiral since he was already going around pointing fingers at his brother-in-law Creon. As the play goes on, we see that this distrust is growing and is slowly blinding him from the almost obvious answers. It takes a lot longer than it should to bring everything into the clear, bright light. Other traits of his that led to his downfall were his confidence and his persistence. As I mentioned before, as soon as he found out about the mystery, he decided he was going to go find the killer. Had he decided against it, he would have never pointed fingers at Creon, and Jocasta would never know. However, even if that had happened, if he still decided to stop investigating further, he would have never found out about how Laios died. This also contributed to Jocasta's downfall because she was willing to tell her husband everything. Instead of keeping Laios' death to herself, she told Oedipus how he died, helping him find the killer. This shows that the characters did have control over the unfolding events. At the very beginning of Oedipus's life, they gave him to the shepherd. This was mistake number 1 because the shepherd refused to kill him. This also leads to another mistake because after the shepherd gave him to someone else in another city, he grew up believing that those were his real parents. Multiple years later, the first problem arose. At a feast, a drunken man, maundering in his cups, cries out that I'm not my father's son. Later, he asks them if what the man said was true, and they denied the statement. He went on to the oracle of Delphi to ask the prophet if they were his real parents or not. This curiosity is another one of his traits that led to his downfall. After all, curiosity killed the cat. After his visit, he was left with more questions than answers. He was told, I should lie with my own mother, breed children from whom all men would turn their eyes, and that I should be my father's murderer. Based on what he was told, he decided it would be better for him to never return to his hometown. The last thing that could have saved both Jocasta and Oedipus is if he never killed anyone in the first place. Had he not killed the men on the highway, then Laios would have still been alive and there never would have been a problem. So in conclusion, Oedipus and Jocasta's character traits and actions led to their downfalls.